You got hit by a car? You always exaggerate things. Who do you think is paying for those hospital bills? Being a housewife must be so easy. Get back home and take care of the house. That's about all you're good for, isn't it? Ugh. The man laughing at me over the phone is sadly my husband, the man I once vowed to spend my life with. Just a few hours ago, a car hit me while I was walking, and I was rushed to the hospital. My husband's first words to me after hearing from the hospital were just that. No husband should ever say things to his wife who just had an accident. But in a few minutes, he would go from laughing to looking pale. My name is Olivia. I'm 40 years old. I've been married to Benjamin for 12 years. As for our relationship... Hey, you're the housewife, right? What's up with this breakfast? Can't you do better? He takes his bad moods out on me, especially in the mornings. On the table are pancakes, coffee, and bacon and eggs. I didn't skimp on anything. Alright, I'll be more careful. Weren't you supposed to leave early today? After years of living together, you learn how to brush off your spouse's moods. He grumbles, but finishes his breakfast and rushes out the door. Finally, I can start my own meal. Lately, he's been increasingly arrogant. I could divorce him, but there's one reason I don't. Don't you get annoyed, Mom? I don't want to marry someone like Dad. The reason is our daughter Emily, who's sitting across from me. She's only 10, but acts much older. Sometimes we talk like friends. He has his good points. He works hard every day, and I'm grateful. But his attitude sucks. He's making fun of you. I calm my angry daughter and send her off to school. I won't lie, I've thought about divorce. This goes back to when Emily was in kindergarten and got the flu for the first time. She had a high fever and was coughing badly. My husband said, "Emily, I have an important meeting tomorrow. Don't get me sick." What? Our daughter is suffering and that's all you have to say? He retorted, "Why did she get sick if she got vaccinated? Did you take her to a quack?" I gave up expecting anything from him that day. There's more to this story. It's hard to prevent spreading illness at home. A few days later, I was the one with a high fever. "Hey, can you take me to the hospital? I think I caught Emily's flu." I texted him because it hurt to talk. Surprisingly, he replied right away. "Wow, you're really useful. Get ready for the hospital." I checked my phone to see. Can't. Call a cab. I might go to my parents' house. I clenched my phone so hard it could break. I get that he can't just leave work. If you suddenly take time off from work, other people will also be inconvenienced. Still, isn't there a kinder way to say it? I glanced sideways and saw Emily, her fever down, sleeping peacefully. I passed out, relieved that at least she was okay. "How long did you sleep?" When I woke up, I was in a hospital bed. "Olivia, are you okay?" My mom and Emily were beside me. Mom said to me as I was dazed, "You called and then Emily was screaming, 'Help, Mom!' We were so worried. Didn't you call Benjamin?" That's right, Mom came and helped me get to the hospital. Turns out I had the flu and was slightly dehydrated. I had an IV in my arm. I thanked my daughter Emily, who was back to her usual self. "Emily, did you call Grandma? Thank you for helping Mom." Seeing her blush made me tear up. Just then, Benjamin burst into the room, out of breath. "Olivia, are you okay?" Mom must have called him. He was out of breath, probably from running. "Benjamin, didn't you notice Olivia was feeling off this morning? What would have happened if Emily hadn't called? You need to pay more attention to your family." Mom was choosing her words carefully, but she was angry. "I'm sorry, I didn't realize it was this bad." "Don't apologize to me. Apologize to Olivia and Emily." Mom spoke gently, perhaps reassured by my husband's remorseful look. I was angry, but seeing him genuinely sorry made me forgive him. His attitude improved a bit after that, but he still belittled me sometimes. And for the past year, I've had another concern. I've started a fixed deposit account through a friend who works at a bank. The interest rate is good. So cut back on spending, okay? Like Emily's dance classes. Do we really need that? Hold on, why are you making such important decisions without me? And Emily is not quitting dance. She was shy, and it's the first thing she wanted to do on her own. I couldn't help but get emotional. Emily had said she wanted to dance like the performers we saw at an event when she was in 2nd grade. That's how we started. She's made lots of friends and become more outgoing since she started dancing, especially with Mia, who's the same age. I'm also friends with Mia's mom. Despite this, Benjamin said, "You wouldn't understand complicated financial stuff. But fine, Emily can continue her lessons. Just manage the budget." I quit my job after Emily was born, but it wasn't my choice. I used to work as an office clerk. After maternity leave, I returned to work only to get frequent calls from the childcare center because Emily was sick. I took time off each time and quickly used up all my paid time off. Can you pick up Emily sometimes? It's hard for me to take time off. I asked Benjamin for help. I thought it was strange to ask such a thing, but he joked. Me? No, guys at my work leave early for childcare. Isn't that the wife's job? I was stunned. There's no such thing as roles, okay? In my family, you're the only wife who works. Your mom stayed home, right? I want you to stay home. That's what I was told, so I quit my job. I was worried about my income, but that didn't mean I couldn't make a living. There are also good points about it. We managed financially, and I was relieved to have more time for Emily and myself. I was also happy to be able to spend more time with Emily. Of course, she also has some bad points. But Benjamin stopped helping at home and acted like he was the sole provider. I suggested going back to work now that Emily is older, but he wasn't interested. Being a housewife is a lot of work. If it were a paid job, it would be worth a lot. He doesn't appreciate me enough. Then, a life-changing event happened. Usual time, usual path. I was walking home from shopping, carrying heavy bags. I heard a car horn from behind. I turned around too late. A car was speeding toward me. My bags scattered around me. I fell on my butt in shock, and then lost consciousness. When I woke up, I was in a hospital bed. My teary-eyed daughter Emily and Mom were by my side. I feel like this has happened before. Did I get the flu again? Grandma, is Mom losing her mind? Both looked worried as I mumbled in my daze. The attending physician, a woman, spoke gently. Emily, calm down. Your mom will be fine. Olivia, do you understand? You were in a car accident. Apparently, the driver had dozed off. The car grazed my shoulder before crashing into a pole. Had I been a few steps ahead, I probably wouldn't be alive. I was horrified when I heard that story. The room fell silent when the phone rang. Mom took my phone from my bag and put it on speaker. Hey, Olivia, got a call from the hospital. You're fine, right? You're always so sturdy. The room went quiet. He kept talking, oblivious to the silence. Stop exaggerating! Who do you think is paying for this hospital stay? Hurry back and take care of the house. That's all you're good for. Is this how you talk to your wife, who just had an accident? Something snapped inside me. I heard the sound of something snapping inside me. I glanced at Mom, her fists trembling. Are you there? Olivia, answer me! My body tenses up to say something back. I was about to respond when someone else beat me to it. Are you the husband? I'm Melissa, the attending physician. Yes. How's my wife? He seemed surprised, probably thinking he was alone with me. Apparently the same was true of the doctors. Too late for apologies. I heard how you spoke to Mrs. Olivia. She'd be better off without you. He exploded. Who do you think you are? Just a female doctor acting high and mighty. I'm Olivia's attending physician, Melissa. As I mentioned, my daughter Mia attends the same dance class as Emily. Oh, I see. My husband, always wanting to look good, was at a loss for words. Mia's mom is a doctor at this hospital. I'm sure she told her husband, but he probably wasn't listening with her right ear and her left ear anyway. I was planning to divorce you later, but I don't need you anymore. Benjamin, I'm going back to my parents' house after I'm discharged. Don't worry about Emily. Mom will take care of her. Wait, who's going to take care of the house? I felt nothing but disgust for him. Emily chimed in. Who'll take care of the house? What about you? Is there a rule that says you can't do housework? And what you said earlier was disappointing. You're an embarrassment. A pathetic husband who is told this much by his own daughter. But I think your mother-in-law and father-in-law will be inconvenienced by you barging in, right? If you find out, then think again. Mom, who had been silent, finally spoke. Hello, Benjamin. This is Olivia's mom. We don't mind at all. Don't worry about it. She spoke softly, but her eyes were anything but soft. Ah, so you're there too, mother-in-law. But you see, didn't you hear me? I said we don't mind. Remember when Olivia had the flu? I asked you to be more considerate of your family. Is my daughter your personal maid? I thought I sent her off as your wife. Mom's words left my husband speechless. If you have any objections, feel free to visit us anytime. Dad and I will be waiting. He loves his daughter and granddaughter. With that, Mom hung up the phone. I was discharged a few days later with a minor shoulder injury and no head trauma. I moved back to my parents' house and we secretly moved our belongings while my husband was at work. Our home was a mess. Dirty dishes filled the sink and the laundry was untouched. I ignored it all and returned to my parents' house. A month into our separation, my husband reached out. "I want to talk." I braced myself for the call from my husband. On the agreed day, he showed up at my parents' house with his own parents. As Mom welcomed them in, my father-in-law began to speak. "Olivia, stop being stubborn and come home. You're married. It's your duty to support your husband." My father-in-law's outdated views were echoed by my nodding husband. "Olivia's dad would agree, right? It's time to let go of your daughter." He laughed as if mocking my dad, just like this parent and this child. My dad's response? "Are you serious? If so, I have even less reason to send my daughter and granddaughter back to you." His tone was calm, but his eyes weren't smiling. Wow, Dad is really mad, I thought. My father-in-law's face turned red. "Benjamin, I want a divorce. I'm tired of being let down, again and again. When was the last time you thanked me?" My husband looked down. "I've always tried to support you, Benjamin, but what about you? You keep saying I should be more grateful. Who's going to support me?" My husband's ears turned red. Mom chimed in. "Benjamin, how did the house look without Olivia? Dress shirts don't clean themselves, and shoes won't shine on their own. How was the food?" Mom was as angry as Dad. Still, my husband argued. "But I'm the one working to support Olivia and Emily. Shouldn't she take care of the house?" We were all stunned by his lack of remorse. He glared at me as if to say he wouldn't agree to a divorce. "Do you remember blaming me for our tight budget? I was so frustrated that I started working from home." "What?" "I've been working within his tax bracket, and it's given us some financial breathing room. If you want to act high and mighty, start earning enough to justify it." My husband sneered at me. "You think this is funny? Fine, let's get a divorce. I'd be better off without a woman like you." The next moment, a sharp slap flew through the air. It wasn't from me, nor from my parents, and certainly not from my father-in-law. It was from my mother-in-law, who had been silent all along. "Listening to you, Benjamin? Who do you think you are? The words you should be saying to Olivia are thank you for always supporting me." Everyone, including my husband and father-in-law, was stunned by my mother-in-law's sudden outburst. "What are you talking about? She's the one who wants a divorce. I've done nothing wrong." "Why don't you worry about your son instead of yourself? I'm a human being too, you know. I have my limits, and it seems like I've reached them now." "What?" Both men were silenced by her forcefulness. Caught off guard, my husband finally agreed to the divorce. We immediately started discussing child support and asset division, and that's when I learned something unexpected. "So, how much is in that fixed deposit amount? That's part of the assets to be divided, right?" My husband's face turned pale at my casual question. About that." Before he could continue, my mother-in-law shouted, "Spit it out!" "I haven't actually set up a fixed deposit. I lied." Tears in his eyes, he confessed. "I actually used it for investments. I thought I could make some extra money, but it didn't work out. That's why I've been hard on Olivia." "Really? You should have talked to me. I was pretty into investing before we got married. I probably know more than you. Now I have enough to cover a down payment on a house. But don't worry, it won't be part of the asset division." My husband, who seemed to think of me as a clueless housewife, was flabbergasted. Since then, he's been consistently sending child support payments. He moved back to his parents' home, but his mother is nowhere to be found. She had endured his father's domineering behavior for years, but couldn't take it anymore after his selfish remark. I can't help but chuckle, thinking about the two men struggling in their messy home. That's what you get for underestimating women. Serves you right. Afterwards, I got a job as a medical receptionist through a friend, Mia's mom. I had also earned a medical administration certificate through a job training program, so I'm managing just fine. I love working in this cozy environment. When the divorce was finalized, my daughter Emily said, "Finally! Took you long enough! I'm fine as long as you're here, Mom." I was taken aback, but vowed to live strongly as a single mom.